What's going on, guys? Cody Marchand back with HydeAndZeke.com, and today what we're going to go over is how to attack the quarterback and running back position in best ball. So as you can see, what I'm going to do today, I got my best ball strategy article up for you guys. We're going to go through that. We're going to go through, what else do I got open? I got my whole, I got all my stats for every team, every player spreadsheet ready to go. Let me make this fit the screen a little bit better so you can see all the tabs. You can see everything that's going on with it. You see how I got the snaps that each team's going to run. Let me show you a little bit more what's going on in this thing. Right, I basically broke down, plays per game last year, the year before, how many of those percentages, was pass play versus run play, and I basically projected out on that, plus like offensive coordinator tendencies, which I'll give you a little sneak peek. I think I have an article coming out that goes in depth about the offensive coordinator tendencies of each team. It's going to be great for you guys, so stick around for that. While you're here, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video. We're going to be doing this all year. We're getting ready. It's, the middle of June right now. We got about 2 months plus that we got to wait until the football season starts. We're going to get right into DraftKings. We're getting into DFS, but until then, let's get primed for some overall draft strategy. One thing I've been doing a lot, I've been mock drafting. I've been drafting for season long, but mostly what I've been doing is playing right here. I've been playing best ball on draft.com. One thing that I do want you guys to do, if you are interested in playing on draft.com at all during this, just use the promo code HydeAndZeke1. I'd really appreciate it. We can play together. It's just a little thing that helps me out, helps out the channel. So if you can go ahead and do that, I'd really appreciate it. But, let's just get right into my thoughts. And really what I wanted to jump into this article is talking about quarterbacks and running backs when it comes to best ball, right? So in best ball, the main thing that's different is it's not a weekly game. It's not head-to-head points. It matters only what happens in the entire season, right? You're drafting. All you do is drafting, and then you don't do anything else. You don't make trades, you don't pick up players, you don't set lineups. You draft, and then that's it. It's the best part of fantasy football that's not DFS is just drafting. And that's why I like best ball. I've been doing a ton of these. Let's just see. This is I just wanted to show you my smaller account just so I can show you just some of the teams I've been doing. I've just been doing a couple a day. Are these the ones I have? Oh no, these are all the different leagues I have. Cool. So, as you can see, 10-person league, got number 1 overall pick. I went Saquon, Chubb, Antonio, Mahomes, and Carry-On in the first 5 rounds. This team was stacked. Obviously, that's the only team you'll see, Patrick Mahomes, that's the same one, as my quarterback in, because I don't normally draft high. You'll see a lot of Andrew Lucks, as we'll get into. But basically, best ball is awesome because you're just drafting, and what it does is it takes your best lineup possible each week, and that's your point. So say you have like Deshaun Jackson, right, who scores 120 points in 5 weeks, but 2 of those weeks he gets 1 catch for 20 yards, and then the other 4 weeks he's over 100 yards with a touchdown each game. Basically, all it would do is Deshaun Jackson would only be in your starting lineup on those games where he went off, and when he did awful, he's not going to hurt you because he's going to be on your bench. So in best ball, it's great. You can go after these higher upside guys because their downside doesn't kill you on a week-to-week basis. And that's really what I like to do. I've been going after a lot of Todd Gurley because, yeah, he has huge injury concerns. I'm not touching him in redraft, I don't think. But he can still lead the league in touchdowns if he plays. And when he's in there getting his normal workload, he's been the RB1, in fantasy the last 2 years. So you got to respect that. That's kind of how we want to approach things overall. I'm going to go through my entire big board a little bit and just kind of break it down, talk to you about the tiers, and, where my thoughts are at, and going off this mock draft I did. So basically, let's break down the mock draft first, right? Just to get an idea of where my head was at when I was drafting. You can look at it all at once, and you can see, okay, the reason that you had blank as your quarterback is because you attack this position first, the way that the board fell, whatever it is, we're going to go over that. So this fell a little bit different. It's kind of a shitty example. Excuse me, I might bleep that, probably won't. It's kind of a bad example, because normally I would never go wide receiver, wide receiver. I just think after the four horsemen, which is what I named the collection of Saquon, CMC, Kamara, and Zeke, I think that it goes them four as the first four picks, and then D-Hop and Davante Adams in whatever order you want. Give me Davante Adams. You can have D-Hop. I love both of them. That's not the point of this. Basically, what I saw was that the biggest value here at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 spot was to take Adams, right? Because I think there's a big drop-off, from the four horsemen to the Melvin Gordon, David Johnson, Lev Bell range. And I think there's also a huge drop-off from the D-Hop Adams to the Michael Thomas, Julio range. So basically, that's where I was headed. That was my thought process behind this. And that is, that's really where I went with this. So, first round, Davante Adams. On the way back, it kind of sucks. I think I was probably going to go David Johnson right here. And I took Juju just because I was diversifying. I don't have a lot of Juju at all this year. And I'm pretty notorious saying that, where I think Juju's going to finish for the season. Let me see where I have him on my best ball big board. Wide receiver 6, which is fine. I think that's a good spot for him, honestly. Is he what? No, that looks like wide receiver 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wide receiver 5, Michael Thomas 6, Antonio 7. Okay, that makes sense. I must have just skipped. Yeah, I just don't have him 5. So he's technically my wide receiver 5. So excuse me for the misnumbered right there. But, basically that's what I was thinking when I went with Juju there. I thought that, this is kind of my tier. I have these two in a tier, these two in a tier, and then these two in a tier. And I thought that, we just missed on the David Johnson tier. Let's just go to, that Michael Thomas Juju tier. And Michael Thomas way up here, I thought I got great value there. So that's why I went there. But let's just look at how the other, where running backs have been going. So roughly you'll see, I'd say realistically like 6, sometimes 7 running backs in the first round. Depends on what it is. You can see Travis Kelce scoot in the first round. Sometimes you'll see Julio. Some people like Juju there, but you're always going to see the top 4 there. You're normally going to see Melvin Gordon. You're normally going to see Lev Bell. Normally David Johnson. Todd Gurley looks like he's been falling to the early second. So you're basically going to see these 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These top 12 running backs go within the first 2 rounds pretty much exclusively because the drop-off from like the Dalvin Cook tier to the Marlon Mack, Aaron Jones tier is pretty significant in my eyes. So if I'm going to get like a workhorse, please take one of your first 2 picks on him because it's all personal preference at that point. But you don't really want to go into a team with Marlon Mack as your 1. I don't mind Aaron Jones because of the value I got for Davante Adams, Juju, and Robert Woods, and I love some Aaron Jones this year. Like I said, with those high upside guys, I think Aaron Jones is just that. I think from Week 11 to Week 17 last year, he was actually the RB5, and I really see Matt LaFleur coming in as the OC of the Packers and really trying to just pound the ball. And I think that he's more than adequate in the passing game, and I think that in an Aaron Rodgers-led offense, is going to score a lot, going to move the ball. I'm not upset with Aaron Jones as my RB1. I'd be a little bit more nervous if, say, it was Josh Jacobs or Kerryon, just because there's more question marks. But overall, I would normally try to go, say here, I'd rather go Alvin Kamara, Mike Evans than I would Davante Adams, Juju. Obviously, I didn't have the 4th overall pick. I don't have a top 4 pick, but I'm just giving you my idea. Ideally, this team would have won Juju. I would take David Johnson. I don't see a huge difference in Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, and Dalvin Cook, to be fair, because Dalvin Cook has huge injury concerns. Nick Chubb isn't really a pass catcher, but I love Nick Chubb. I think he's a beast running the ball. So I didn't mind this, but once I get out of this tier, the Lev Bell, Joe Mixon, David Johnson, Melvin Gordon, if I can't get them as my number 1 running back, I'll probably just wait. But if not, that's what I'm going to do. So for me, I'm going to try to have my cutoff. Let me bring over my big board for you. For my RB1 to be right here. So in the top 11 picks, I want a running back. And if it falls to me later, that's fine. But I want to go into a draft thinking, all right, I'm going to get the best available. This is my big board basically says if I was picking, and any of these guys were available, whoever's at the top of the list I'd take. So if these guys were all gone, I'll take him. If these 4 are gone, I'll take Gurley, even though I think I'm going to move Gurley down. Even in best ball, I like, so the thing is, I had him way lower in redraft, but I think in best ball, even it's still such a concern that, you could have bell cow with David Johnson, bell cow, Lev Bell, bell cow, Melvin Gordon, with just a few less question marks. So, like I said, I think I would go these 4 first, these 2, and then I'm hoping that one of these guys is available, right? So basically, my point is at running backs, you want one in the first 2 rounds if you want like a stud RB1. If you get it past those first 12, which are always gone the first 2 rounds, you can look towards more of that, Damian Williams, Aaron Jones, carry on Josh Jacobs tier. And if you're more into the Leonard Fournette, Marlon Mack, Devontae Freeman, then that's fine. As you can see, I had Damian Williams above Aaron Jones, and I picked Aaron Jones instead of Damian Williams. Basically, I just did that because I personally did not want Damian Williams as an RB1 because he has so much risk of, Casey might not even want him as their full-time running back for the entire season. I needed a little bit more stability. Say I went, again, like something safer. Say like I had David Johnson right here. Then I'd probably go Damian Williams over Aaron Jones because I could be a little bit riskier. So that's just more like roster construction things. But I just wanted to show you basically how things played out, right? And I want you to pay attention to the blue, which is running backs, and green, which is quarterbacks. And I want you to see that for me, where is my big board? For me, I have, where is Jameis Winston? I have Jameis Winston as my QB6 this year. And I got my QB6 in the 9th round. All I'm saying is in best ball, I want to be the last person to draft a QB1 and the first person to be a QB2, to draft a QB2. Basically, I think you get an advantage of taking all these positional players ahead of the bunched up quarterbacks, but everybody's known that. But the difference is with drafting a second QB really high is the fact that it intertwines and takes the best weeks. I'd rather have like a Jameis Winston match with the Kyler Murray. Give me a Lamar Jackson and Matt Ryan. Give me a Jared Goff and not Phillip Rivers. Give me like a Jared Goff and a Drew Brees. Give me a Jared Goff and a Cam Newton. Basically, I want to draft. This is how I want to draft. Like ideally, ideally, it goes like this, where I get Jameis in the 13th, and 9th, and Kyler in the 13th. But Kyler is going so high now, and I'm huge on Kyler Murray, but he might be getting overdrafted a little bit to me. But ideally, I want to have my last QB1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was this, 8. I got the last QB1 and the first QB2 every single time. That is how I want to draft because it's just as good because you get the benefit of drafting a positional player, either running back or a receiver. Don't worry about tight ends. And over somebody that is drafting quarterback high, and you get pretty much the same production out of 2 solid quarterbacks that you would out of, say, Baker Mayfield, who's getting drafted for some reason in the 7th round. Give me Jameis Winston and Kyler Murray all day over Baker Mayfield, you know what I mean? And instead of Baker Mayfield in the 7th, I got David Montgomery, a starting running back, a high-caliber rookie that a lot of people like. And then, but down here, he's drafting Robert Foster that might not even play because there's so many receivers on the team. And I'm drafting a starting quarterback that's in my top 6. So you see where you get an advantage by drafting the last QB1 and the first QB2. So that's basically what I want you to do when it comes to quarterbacks. And when it comes to running backs, go after a stud in the first 2 rounds because out of those top 12, there's a big drop-off. And attack these vets in murky situations later in the draft. Someone I really liked was Chris Carson. It's so weird because I'm a huge Rashad Penny guy. That's why I have him down here. But the value of Chris Carson as like a starter, where I got him was really good. And I knew I was going to get Rashad Penny anyway. I wanted to lock up a backfield that runs the ball as much as Seattle does. I think it's kind of weird. You don't want handcuffs per se in best ball. You really won't, but if it's a 2-headed monster, it's much different. Like the Royce Freeman, Phillip Rivers, the old Tevin Coleman, Devontae Freeman, those are fine. But you don't really want to have like Le'Veon Bell and Elijah McGuire. Like, that's not really the point that we're trying to go for. So you don't want like James Conner and Jalen Samuels. But that's what I would do. I would really attack the first 2 rounds for studs. Look for veterans that people are like looking over because the rookies are so hot right now. That's what happens when you draft basketball teams in the middle of summer, is that rookies are so overhyped that they're going to get pushed up the list. Even I drafted rookie, that's it. Okay, so I only drafted 3 rookies. I drafted 3 rookies, but that's because I'm a huge Darrell Henderson guy. Like I said, Todd Gurley has question marks. If Todd Gurley goes down, Darrell Henderson on that offense, just a no-brainer. But look at all these running backs drafted from round 9 through 13. This is basically all blue. I would say 80+% of these rounds were running backs. And I think that's because, look it up here where these rounds, mine has 4 blue and not one other team has that many running backs. They're waiting down here. Like, do you really want Kalen Ballage, Rex Burkhead, Devin Singletary, Jamal Williams, Jay Ajayi? Like, Jay Ajayi doesn't even have a team. I want my last running back max 11th round, unless I'm going high upside guy. But I'd rather go high upside for gun tight end like Jimmy Graham, high upside QB2 Kyler Murray, high upside wide receiver Devontae Parker. Always got to give me some Devontae Parker in anything I put out. But that's my point, is build your core up here. Even I don't like the fact that I have O.J. Howard, but take him away, the first 8 rounds, all I have is wide receivers and running backs. The first, go to round 11, besides Jameis and OJ, all I have is wide receivers and running backs. So I want to be late on tight end. I want to be late on quarterback. I want to be early on running back. I want to be early and middle on running back. I don't want to be at the end of my drafts. Do what you need to do, but that's what I've been seeing so far based on, what I've seen for ADP so far. I would love it if I could go to lobby, NFL, closest to Phil. Alright, never mind. I was gonna do a quick draft for you guys, but there's nothing really available. But pretty much that's my point. Let me just show you. Let me go over my big board real quick for you guys here, just to give you a quick idea of what I have. I got Saquon, Zeke, Kamara, obviously. I just want to see what's notable to me. I think Travis Kelce I might have a little bit high, but that's because my stats made him look like a wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6, something like that. Let me see. Travis Kelce. Projected 103 catches, 1,300 yards, and 13 touchdowns, which would have put him right ahead of Juju. So, I'm not afraid to draft a tight end in the middle of round 2 if it's Travis Kelce. I just think that you get a huge positional advantage week to week, and I think that he can win you a lot of weeks. What else do I got? AJ Green. I don't know how he's getting overlooked. AJ Green, when he plays, his career average is wide receiver 5 in fantasy every single week, when he's healthy on the field. Even last year, he was on pace for another ridiculous season. He got hurt, and I understand he has those injury concerns, but when he plays, he wins you weeks, and it's I'm not shying away from those type of guys. I don't like labeling people injury prone. I'm not shying away from Sammy Watkins. I'm not shying away from AJ Green, because these are injuries that you can heal from. When it comes to Todd Gurley, it's a little bit different when you hear stuff like arthritis in the knee, degenerative arthritis. It's a little bit more worrisome, but overall for injuries, I'm not super concerned. Fournette, I'm not super concerned. Even the one thing I like about Fournette, last year he started finally getting involved in the passing game. All I'm seeing out of Jaguars camp so far is Nick Foles throwing some deep balls. What else is interesting? Patrick Mahomes down here at 43. Obviously it says 44, but this counts as a row. So I have him as the 43rd overall player, which means I'm comfortable taking him, early 5th round. But he doesn't ever get there. So it's I don't have a lot of Patrick Mahomes. I got him one time because I got him in the 5th round. I was drafting first. I went Saquon, Chubb, Antonio Brown, carry on, and Mahomes. I'll take them all day in the 5th round. If you're going to give me the best running back in the league and the best quarterback in the league, I'm not going to say no. You know what I mean? I think that's where value comes into play. 5th round all day. Andrew Luck I get a ton of. For some reason, he's slipping to the 7th round. And I'll take normally, like I said, I'll go quarterback late, but not if it's Andrew Luck in the 7th round. I think that he has a good chance of being QB1 this year. I'm definitely not going to pass that up. And basically what I want to show you is that I have a lot of tiers where it's like, you always want to draft according to tiers, not towards pure ranking, right? So it's like, say right here, say I need a running back and I'm drafting at the end of the 1st round. And I'm drafting 10th. And then 9th pick was Gurley, 8th pick was David Johnson, 7th pick was Lev Bell, 6th pick was Melvin Gordon. Instead of going to Joe Mixon, I would just draft Julio. I'm gonna draft based on my tiers. So it's basically, if I need a running back and I don't think that there's a good value because I think that there's a tier break between these guys, then I'm just gonna go with, and say what if this guy gets passed on, right? The reason that, you know, these guys are all gone, I mean, there's no running backs, is because they all went and somebody passed on a receiver. Where it's like, why would I drop down to this tier for Joe Mixon when Hopkins is still available? You know what I mean? So always draft based on tiers, and you'll be golden. And that's really what I want to focus on a lot when it comes to drafting, especially best ball. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys. Like I said, one more time, one more plug. If you are going to join draft.com, play some best ball, hit me up on Twitter. Let me know that you want me to join draft. I'll join anybody's draft. You can make 100 leagues, take my money 100 times. I promise you, if you invite me to a league on draft, I will join that league. Use my promo code HydeAndZeke1. Super appreciate it. Besides that, guys, let me know if you want to draft. Let me know if you want to just engage, talk about fantasy football, whatever you want to do. I'm going to leave a link to this article in the comments below. I'm also going to leave the how to register on draft right here, this link in the info below. So that's all, guys. Like I said, if you're still hanging around, you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. We're going to be having a great season together. And that's all for this one, and I'll talk to you guys soon.